Whoa, Yankee with no brim.
YouTube land, what's good? It's your boy B Heard, aka Brian, aka Prince Vegeta, out there hitting another PBAT. If you don't know what that stands for, it's Prince B Heard Anime Talks, and today we're here to talk about Juni Taisen. What are we talking about? It's gonna be a discussion, so I'm gonna be all over the place, talking about everything about the show, my thoughts and opinions, since I've been watching a lot of anime lately. Yeah, so let's get into it, shall we? The plot of Juni Taisen is every 12 years, mercenaries who possess high caliber of brute strength, cunning wit, and deadly precision gathered to participate in a Zodiac tournament. Each warrior bears the name of the attributes of one of the 12 animals of the Chinese Zodiac, and with a pride and lives on the line, they engage in various combat until one victor remains. The 12th Zodiac tournament begins in a desolated city, devoid of any evidence of the 500,000 people who recently lived there. To raise the stakes, each warrior ingests a poisonous gem, thus setting a timeline on the tournament, time limit, on the tournament and their lives, with one wish for the victor for grabs. The Zodiac warriors start their cutthroat battle for survival. And yes, did I read that off a website? You know it. Shout out to my anime list. But that is currently the plot, and pretty much the whole reason that everybody's here at this tournament. And I actually like that this was the plot of the tournament, because it kind of gave you perspective on what this tournament means. You know, some people were willing to take the place of other people so that they didn't have to go through this hellhole that this tournament is, and some people were willing to screw over people they loved to get in this tournament. This tournament was everything to some people, and some people didn't even know about it. Like, I actually like the plot. The setup for this story was quite good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Now I'm going to talk about all the characters, but some characters I'm just gonna spend a little time on, just because I can't express how I feel about these characters. I think Jamie Foxx could express better about how I feel about these characters. Jamie, you want to take it away?
You just want to say, fuck you. Oh, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck, 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 fuck.
Now let's get into it, shall we? Let's talk about these three characters that I don't like. Their whole character type was just kind of weird, essentially. Dragon and Snake were really only in it for the Juni Tensei for the money, but they were successful robbers and heist people at the get-go. So it was like, what was the point of joining the tournament if you was already successful at doing what you were doing, just to get more? Like, and that was weird. And then the backstory had hella episodes. So I want to say they had the most screen time for people being irrelevant in this show. Yeah, and they killed some kid's brother, and they just gave the kid money like that would bring his brother back. Like, their whole character types were just weird. They were just like bad guys to be bad guys, but they weren't even good bad guys. Then the rabbit, he was kind of OP, I ain't gonna hold you. Him being a necromancer, he kind of drove the narrative of the story, and like, it almost felt like he was untouchable. There was a point in time where Picasso is the one that put me onto the show, and I was like literally thinking that Rabbit was about to win this whole show. And if Rabbit won this whole show, bro, I'll be honest with you, I'll give it a 5. I'm not even gonna lie, that's how much I dislike Rabbit's character. Now it's time to talk about the ladies, and actually the ladies are what kind of drove the show for me, to be honest. I loved every lady character. I don't think there was a bad one, and I think they had different archetypes and that specialized in everything. We started out with Boar, and Boar's background story, she was kind of one of the most interesting characters because she didn't get picked. So she did everything in her power to kind of drive her sister mad and crazy to where she could take the place of her sister and end up killing her sister, and that's what I was talking about earlier. So she wanted to go into this tournament and utilize and do things in this tournament, and her power and her ability, because she was like a gun kata, like just holding weapons and just using guns, and you're thinking it's like a war zone of people having all these weapons and bombs and things like that, and just being brute strong, but she had guns. So it's like, what are you going to do with this? And she had this ability to where her guns would she could have a unlimited amount of bullets. And that was kind of a good strategy because the first fight we see is her and Rabbit, and her strategy was pretty much lure Rabbit in, so when she gets him into her web, essentially she just unloads the full clip and lets everything spraying. And that unfortunately did not work for her, but I did love her character, and not to mention she looked good. And another character that I did like was Tiger. Tiger, I think is Ghost's favorite character. She was interesting, and she had the dynamic of being a drunk, but she had heightened senses when she was drunk. So it was like the more drunk she was, the better of a fighter she was. And I actually liked her character a lot too, and her history. And basically, she pretty much got drunk to suppress the pain of war, and that was an interesting dynamic to see. And only problem is she didn't get her fairy tale ending because she ended up helping the Ox, but the Ox didn't remember her. So that's kind of a negative on Ox's part, which I kind of disliked, and I wish they would have brought that up and be like, hey, yeah, I do remember you. This is me from da 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 da. When you taught me this lesson about war, like I hated that Tiger just kind of was like, oh well, take the L. See you. Then we got Monkey, and I'm saving best girl for best last. Best girl for last. I don't know why I said it like that. But yeah, we got Monkey. Monkey didn't win a fight. Monkey wanted to have an alliance at the get-go, which it would have worked. And what was weird is she thought that somebody was going to attack somebody at the very beginning in that little building that you see them locating at, which she ended up triggering explosives so that no one got hurt, but in actuality she kind of hurt herself because everybody got spread away from each other, so that kind of ruined the alliance. And granted, now if it would have been fake or real, there was like, I want to say at least 3 or 4 people that held their hands up and raised their hands, which, you know, would have helped her in their favor of the alliance. And even if the alliance is fake, like, you get rid of the people that is against the alliance, and then it's every man for themselves. So it literally takes halfway the problem. And maybe Monkey, she was using talk no jutsu, and it was working to a little bit. You know what I'm saying? She ended up talking, you know, baby girl out of fighting her best girl, and unfortunately, it still kind of led her to her demise because you end up having to fight because it is the Zodiac War. Lastly, but not least, is baby girl. Chicken looked good. Chicken looked like she need me. If I was in the 13th Zodiac War, and I don't know if that's the Western one, and I'll get to that later, but if it's not, you know, if I'm in the 13th Zodiac War, baby girl, I'm bringing you back to life. Not no rabbit nothing. Not no rabbit necromancer type ish, but I'm bringing baby girl back to life. Her character was interesting. Her character was actually probably the most messed up because she was so messed up that she forgot her past essentially and just became this like information specialist that she knew everything about everybody and was just a beast and like screwed people over. And her ability was so dope because her ability was able to control birds, so her being in the alliance kind of made sense of why she didn't want to do it, because think about it, like, granted, birds could obviously go underground and birds could probably go in a sewer system, I'd imagine, but that's not where her strength is. Her strength is where the birds could fly and be free. So she wanted to be outside. Fortunately, she was outside, she ran into the wrong dude, and yeah, she kind of got clapped up. But that is still baby girl. No slander towards Chicken, or you'll catch the boot. Now the rest of the characters, we're just gonna band them together and put them in a group because I really don't know how I feel about these characters. I don't hate them, I don't love them, they're kind of in the middle for me. And to start off with, we're gonna talk about Ox the God, the drip god. Now I'm putting all the pictures at the very beginning, but Ox's power literally was him just being that dude. Like, it was the craziest power, it was the craziest ability that I've ever seen anyone have. He literally just told Tiger that, like, when I want to do something, I think about doing something and then I do it. Like, that was literally his character archetype the whole time. He was just that dude. He took out baby girl, so I hate him for that. Yeah, he was just that dude. And then Horse was a genetic freak. I feel like Horse had the same background as Juggernaut. I feel like that's how Juggernaut's story is he pretty much was just modified into becoming this beast and this monster. And Horse did a really good job of, you know, battling Ox. And he battled Ox and survived. So you would think that he had a good chance at running in the tournament, but unfortunately he kind of didn't because his anxiety got the best of him. Actually, he was burning alive, but, you know, just having a panic attack essentially. Yeah, Horse, I didn't really care too much about him, but like I said, you know, the fact that he was battling Ox in this battle royale and you thought he would do more with that, but unfortunately he couldn't. Then we're talking about dog. Now, dog. If for those of you who do not know, I was born the year of the dog, and I thought that dog would be, my character because I thought I would root for him. But he had the exact voice that I thought he was going to have, and he talked like this, and he had this demeanor. Ha ha ha! He was such a straightforward, he knew what was about to happen type of person that it ended up compromising him and biting him in the ass because he thought that Chicken was weak and Chicken didn't know who he was, so he ended up giving her a boost by biting her because his bite, which I thought was kind of an interesting dynamic, that his bite could do poison, his bite could give a boost and power and things of that nature, and his bite was unique, so I just thought that they were gonna do more with that. Unfortunately, he got clapped up as soon as he gave Chicken the power, and they didn't do anything with that to his demise. Now, Rat and Sheep were the two people that I was going to pick in this to win it. And the only unfortunate circumstance with Sheep is he's won it before, so you would think that he would go into this with a strategy and be more cautious and calculated, especially since he has to set up bombs and things of that nature. He was to a certain degree, but then again he wasn't, because he overlooked Tiger, and that's the thing that kind of threw me nuts about Sheep. Is how did you go winning the first one and then you see a person that probably looks weaker than you, probably someone you can take, but then you underestimated them and then you got clapped up because of that. That was also a weird thing to me. And then Rat was unique because he could have 100 experiences of the same thing, and he felt the pain and anguish of every single one. So it was he would go through 100 different scenarios and feel all of them. Mind you, the person not knowing what happened, but the person wouldn't recognize that face of Rats and things of that nature. And so he was always constantly tired and always drained, and he kind of slept. That's probably where he felt most comfortable, was sleeping. But I'm gonna get into Rat a little bit more, but his character type, I don't know. It seemed like when Rat was getting screen time was the time that Juni Taisen was kind of getting more boring, and I wasn't as interested in it. But I'll get back into that a little later. Now, to talk about everything else, this is the discussion part of the video where, like I told you, it's not a review, but I'm gonna just be freestyling my thoughts and opinions on certain things. Now, whenever they would give a character a background, they would give a character a background story, and you would fill the character and try to build some emotional connection to the character, and then the character dies. I don't know if that was the goal they were going for. Obviously, that was the goal they were going for because that's the plot that they wrote, but it just kind of killed off the character, because it's you knew what time it was as soon as you see the character's history and you see what a character came from, and they're the story, because it happened with so many characters in the story to where just oh well, this character's about to die. I think the only one that it really kind of didn't happen to was obviously Rat, and obviously Monkey, because Monkey, we followed her for a little bit, and then the brothers. It feels I don't even know if Rabbit got a backstory. That's how the structure, the flow of the story just kind of got repetitive, and you knew what time it was when you would see certain things. So I didn't like that. And then also it had that battle royale feel, and I feel in battle royales, there's three stages, right? There's early game where most people get clapped up because everybody's trying to get loot at the same time, and sometimes you just get clapped up. And then there's that middle game where it's you got to make the decisions, and you got to make the rightful decisions, because it's do I take this fight now? Do I wait? Do I go high? Do I do this? Do I go that? Do I do that? And in Juni Taisen, it was great when you got to that point and we actually got to see it, but it felt like everybody got clapped up early game, and like I said, there was only 11 to start because Snake got killed early, but he was obviously a necromancer, so he was able to still participate, but still. And then Endgame wasn't even good, because all Rat had to do was just wait until he found Sheep's bomb, and he found the bomb and just killed everybody. So I think if they were ever to come back with another season of this, they should showcase it to where it's kind of more prolonged and it's more middle game and it's more decision making in that regards, because there was really no good fights. And I said the fight choreograph and then the fights when they actually happened were amazing, but I'm saying there was no good fights in the sense that you didn't really get to see a full-fledged out fight. It's usually somebody just beating up somebody other quick, and then that was it. And but the fights were amazingly animated and they were cool, so that's why I'm saying I wish we got to see more of that, but unfortunately it was just everybody kind of got clapped up quick, so you didn't really get to see a whole lot. That was unfortunate circumstance, and I wish everybody had an idea of Rat's ability. I think that would have made for an interesting, more unique dynamic. It's because it was everybody like even Sheep, the person who already won a Juni Taisen, kind of came off as cocky in a way because he was doubting Tiger, and it felt like everybody, like, they knew exactly what they were supposed to do, and this is the plan, and this is what's going to give me the win, and that wasn't the case at all. So I wish they kind of, like, I wish they knew Rat's ability so that they would go, if I go this way, will Rat know I go this way? Is this how Rat's prediction is going to go? Like, I wish they would have went against the grain so that way you see a la, like, dog and chicken work together, or like, how does that work out? Or like, chicken says, F it, let me try to kill rat and monkey now, and like, just things of that nature, or boar even. And also, I wonder if, like, you know how you saw certain scenarios of characters, like, this is how it's gonna go, and they were animated. I think the only one that comes to mind right away is boar versus rabbit. I wonder if that's something that Rat had seen in one of his 100 like visions. So that would have been cool to see too. And then Rat's wish was kind of like whatever. Like, it didn't really do anything for me, and then it didn't do a lot of things for people. Like, the people that I did talk to, close friends, and then like TBH watching his review, a lot of people didn't like Rat's wish, and I get the wish, I get why, because it's like you want to make it stop, but it's like like, and then that's the show's problem. Essentially, is like the show is so good at the beginning and it draws you in, and like you said, you don't know who the main character is, you don't know who to follow, you don't know who to root for, because it's like anyone's game. And then it gets into this format to where it's like Ox, who's literally just drip, Rabbit, who's literally just killing everybody and holding everybody, and then it's like Rat's mysterious, but then Monkey's like leading everybody the way, and then it's like, who out of these four people are gonna win? And it kind of just dies. Like, the selling point at the very beginning is like some of the top tier selling points that I've seen in these 12 episode animes, and like you're invested. Like, I do believe that watching it with friends helped too, because me watching it with Ghost and Picasso, like, I was hooked. I wanted to see one, but then once I started watching it by myself, and then like I think it was like 2 episodes of the brothers, and then it was like Rabbit was dead, but he wasn't dead, and he was still fighting, and it just kind of drawn on, and it got worse. And then like Rat's ability getting explained, and I was just kind of confused. I honestly thought Rat's ability was like something that that mysterious host guy was doing of the Illuminati group, and I was like, whoa, what is this? What is going on? I was so confused. But yeah, I don't know. Juni Taisen was a great watch. I give it a 7 out of 10. I think my anime list has it as a 6.5 currently, which I can see why they give it a 6.5, because it's like, it could have been great, but then it kind of falls off completely. And another thing is, if they do have another season, which I think they have a light novel, which is Juni Taisen of the West, and that's essentially like the zodiac signs for the US, and that'd be like your Scorpio, which is me. So Scorpio and Year of the Dog. So guess how old I am in the comment section below. But yeah, so you have Scorpio, Aries, like the birthday, you know, zodiac signs. That'd be interesting to read, and I'll be curious to see who wins that. But if they do actually have more anime seasons in the future, what they should do is they should showcase, like, you know, Sheep's zodiac season, you know, and Boar's dad was the most recent one to win 11. I wish, like, I want to see those seasons. I want to see how that plays out, because then you could even stretch it to where you could have it be like a middle game towards end game versus early game, because it's like you only have 12 people. You can't have like half the cast dying right away. Like it's literally like half the cast died, like half the cast went in the same spot and just died, you know what I mean? And that's essentially what happened, and that's essentially what kind of like ruined the flow of the show to me. But like I said, watch it with friends. It's a great watch. This is a discussion, the PBAT. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I love you guys. Till next time, I'm gonna see you next time on a PBAT with Inuyasha. Peace.